Welcome to Wawasan Wire. Today we're talking about Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad's pretty sharp questioning regarding the serving of alcohol at official government events. Let's just jump right into it because this has definitely stirred things up. We're talking about the former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir, he's gone public expressing, frankly, strong bewilderment. And he's even suggesting deliberate provocation about alcohol being served at this global tourism exchange dinner.
Yeah, and when someone like Mahathir speaks out like this, it carries a lot of political weight. It's not just a casual comment.
Absolutely.
His main point, his core argument, is that this action, it flies directly in the face of a known long-standing government policy that says you just don't serve alcohol at official functions, period.
Right.
So he's framing it not as, a simple slip-up in catering, but as a serious policy breach. That changes the conversation entirely.
Okay, so let's dig into that policy aspect a bit, because the definition of official function seems key here. This event, the Global Tourism Exchange Dinner, it was linked to a ministry, right? Tourism related.
That's the understanding, yes.
So for Mahathir, if a ministry or one of its agencies is hosting, that makes it official.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's official, then serving alcohol is, completely off the table according to this rule.
Exactly. That distinction is crucial. And look, this isn't a new rule. We're talking about something that goes back, quite a long way, largely since the mid-90s, through internal government circulars.
Okay.
It wasn't just a friendly suggestion. It was meant as a binding guideline for government departments, primarily to respect the sensitivities, the religious and cultural feelings of the majority Muslim population,
Mm-hmm.
and also, to maintain a certain standard at state events. So when a big visible event like this sees that policy broken, it makes you wonder, is it just extreme carelessness or something more intentional?
And Mahathir definitely leans towards that something more. He sees it as crossing a line into, disrespect. He explicitly said he views it as disregarding the feelings of Muslims in Malaysia.
Yes, and that really escalates things, doesn't it? It moves it from an administrative issue, a rule-breaking thing, into the much more sensitive territory of cultural and religious offense.
He's basically weaponizing it, politically speaking.
You could certainly argue that. By bringing in the disrespect angle, he achieves a couple of things. First, he connects with a large part of the population who feel similarly sensitive about this.
Right.
And second, it makes it really hard for the ministry involved to just say, oops, sorry, our mistake. The accusation is much more serious than just forgetting a rule.
Yeah, a simple apology probably wouldn't cut it in his view.
Right.
Which brings us to that key phrase he used. He said, given his own decades in government, he cannot understand why this well-known rule was broken. When someone with that experience says they cannot understand something so basic, it sounds less like confusion and more like suspicion, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's a classic political move. Saying, I don't understand, often really means, I suspect there's something else going on here. It's the setup for the more serious accusation.
Because why would you ignore such a clear, established rule at such a high-profile event, it seems like? Well, either unbelievable incompetence.
Or, as Mahathir suggests, maybe it wasn't an accident at all, and that's where his comments get really controversial.
Right. This is the shift from oversight to potentially strategy. He didn't just hint. He quite clearly suggested this breach might have been deliberate.
That's the headline, really. The accusation of intent. Mahathir floated the idea that serving alcohol was maybe a test, a probe, to see how people would react, politically, publicly.
A test, like dipping a toe in the water to see if they could change things.
That's the implication, like a trial balloon, as they say. To gauge tolerance levels for pushing boundaries on these long-held cultural or political norms.
But, isn't that a huge leap to suggest it's some kind of calculated political maneuver when, it could just be, someone messing up, bureaucratic error maybe, especially after years of things being different with events during the pandemic. Does accusing him of a probe risk sounding a bit conspiratorial?
It's definitely a risk politically, but framing it as a trial balloon is strategically quite effective in the current climate. It lets him suggest a motive, a negative one, without needing concrete proof.
Oh, okay.
It shifts the burden, you see. Now the ministry has to prove they weren't trying to test boundaries or provoke anyone. In politics, perception matters hugely, sometimes more than the facts. And this frames the government as potentially challenging established norms.
What forces people to ask, okay, if they ignore this rule about alcohol, what else might they try to change quietly?
Precisely. It connects a specific incident to a broader anxiety about potential changes.
And it fits with him completely rejecting any excuses. He said the idea that officials did not know they were doing wrong was just Unbelievable. He wasn't buying incompetence as an explanation at all.
Not at all. He dismissed it outright, and then he countered with something even stronger. Mahathir claimed the officials involved knew the policy perfectly well, but went ahead anyway. And then he added potentially, and this is a direct quote, to incite the Muslim populace.
Wow. That's a really serious charge, to suggest a government body would deliberately try to stir up religious or social anger for political reasons.
It's a very grave accusation, yes. It fundamentally questions the motives and integrity of those running the ministry or organizing the event.
And it's important to remember, this whole issue didn't just appear when Mahathir spoke. There was some background here, wasn't there? Someone else had already raised concerns.
That's right. This wasn't out of the blue. Before Mahathir weighed in so strongly, Datuk Mahathir, the MP for Mishtitana, she posted about it, questioning the whole thing. Her concern was whether the Tourism Bureau's actions, serving alcohol at what seemed like an official event, violated cultural norms. And, significantly, she also raised whether it might clash with constitutional principle.
Linking it to the Constitution. That definitely raised the stakes early on.
It did. It established a pretty high bar for questioning what happened, moving it beyond just internal policy.
So, in a way, Mahathir came in after the initial complaint was already out there. He sort of amplified it, took the factual issue alcohol was served, and layered on this accusation of deliberate intent, framing it as a political play.
That's a good way to put it. He transformed what might have been seen as an administrative blunder, or maybe cultural insensitivity, into a potential political strategy, even provocation. It shows how these things can build, you know?
Yeah. The initial fact provides the spark.
Right, like Mahathir Mohamad's complaint.
And then the accusation of intent adds the fuel.
Exactly, like Mahathir's statement. And the result is the ministry isn't just answering questions about event planning, but about their fundamental motives and political alignment.
So wrapping this up, we're left with two really critical points that Mahathir has pushed into the spotlight. First, there's the undeniable fact that a long-standing government policy about alcohol at official events seems to have been broken. That alone raises questions about, who's minding the store, administrative oversight at the very least. And second, the much heavier question he's posing. Was this just incompetence, a mistake? Or was it, as he suspects, an intentional provocation, a deliberate test to see what they could get away with? And that really is the question left hanging, isn't it? For anyone watching the government. When a well-known rule, especially one tied to deep cultural and religious sensitivities, gets broken so publicly, do you assume it's just a mistake? Simple bureaucratic failure?
Or do you consider the possibility, however uncomfortable, that it might be intentional disregard? A calculated move, a trial balloon. Either way, the impact on public trust, on how people view the government's integrity and direction, it's significant.
It definitely makes you think about how much political weight even seemingly small procedural things can carry in official settings.
Indeed it does. A lot to chew on there.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.